More for your policymakers toolbox. We were talking about meaning systems, and I mentioned the temple meaning system. What I call the temple meaning system, how does that work? Well, we're talking about a linear meaning system. A linear meaning system that exists alongside others. So many of the ancient Greeks had temples, as well as gods who could meet you anywhere, any time. Temples were a particular place and a particular way of thinking about meaning, and temples did it this way. They liturgized, or I should say, they would ritualize people into habits that formed an identity. So within your sense of identity, which was formed by temple meaning systems, then you were habituated into pilgrimage as an obligation, pilgrimage as a habit. You would go up to the temple for feasts, and there were all sorts of other rituals that were meaningful to ancient peoples. So the area that we now call the Middle East was full of temple systems, and there would be a temple. They were all temple people, and the temples were the abattoirs of the ancient world. The inheritance, I guess, the intellectual inheritance and the cultural inheritance was concerning. It was a kind of a hybrid of mercantilism. They were all familiar with debt and of legalism, or a kind of taboo system. Where the temple was a place of cleansing, the temple was a place of ritual realignment of your identity. So that, let me describe, for example, how I look at the linear consideration, or the linear thinking of temples. First of all, you start with a set of taboos, and then you run to what's wrong, what happens with wrongdoing. You end up with guilt and blame, and then there's a kind of leap, because we are talking about a trading people, a leap to debt and payment, So blame, debt, payment, and then of course there's this redemption that happens at the temple, and the temple has a kind of a kind of status as the place where your debts are paid, the place where your moral debts are paid, where you can be redeemed, or where you can be cleansed, or when you can begin again, your debt is paid and you can start afresh and have your holiday. So this is the kind of way in which temple thinking worked, and it resulted, as I said, in blaming the victim, in scapegoating, and also, rather regrettably, it went along with the notion that a moral expert was responsible for matters of conscience, not you. So picture an ancient people, two blokes who are chopping down a tree, and one says, "Oh, look, this is the last tree on the island," and yeah, I know that. Well, look, when we make this tree into a canoe, that'll be the last canoe, and we're a fishing people. And once this canoe's gone rotten, there's no more trees. There's no. Oh, shut up, will you? Look, if it was wrong, the witch doctor would have said so. And if we don't do it, some other bugger will do it. So well, let's just get on with chopping down the tree. It's not up to us to reason why. Ours is but to do or die. So look, mate, it's up to somebody up there to be the conscience, not for us. So that's also a byproduct, I think, of the temple system, as I understand it. So we're inside these inheritances from meaning systems, and really what I want to say is that all of the meaning systems that were inside were themselves products of particular habits, particular institutions, particular technologies that were developed in ancient times. That's worth thinking about if you want to produce new meaning systems, if you want to produce hybrids of old meaning systems. That's worth thinking about if you want to make policies.